It's just really hard to beat him. You know, the style that he employs is just really difficult to beat him in that particular style. It's just really, you know, I don't care, love him or hate him, he's a hard man to beat.
How would you penetrate that style?
Well,
the shoulder roll and.
Well, I would fight him differently. I would just, I even know I would fight a guy like Floyd differently if he was a heavyweight. You know, we can never fight, of course, because of the weight difference. But I wouldn't fight him the way they fought him. It's just hard, difficult to fight him. I would be mean. I would be dirty because you would have to do everything to fight him because he's just so good. You can't fight. It's almost impossible to fight him clean. It's almost impossible to win
Canelo,
fight and fight him clean.
When
you can't fight clean with him.
See, Canelo wasn't exactly clean in that fight.
You can't fight this guy clean. That's the credit on how masterful he is. You have to be dirty. You got to be rough. You have to use the elbows, head, bending up. You have to use everything. Because this guy, as far as his style is concerned, this guy is a master fighter. When it comes to that style of fighting, it's almost impossible to beat. Look, he's almost 40 years old, 37. How old is he?
36.
And he's boxing better than he did when he was 26.
Those are the words of Iron Mike Tyson in regards of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and what he would do if he fought Floyd. Now, of course, as Mike Tyson explained, they'll never fight because of the huge weight difference, of course. But Mike said that he would fight him dirty because of the style. It's almost impossible, according to Mike, to beat Floyd Mayweather. Legit. Okay. It makes me think of what Mike Tyson said, which a fight that he was at, the first Marcos Maidana fight. Marcos Maidana fought Floyd reckless. He fought him aggressive. He fought the boxer, the skilled master boxer. He fought him. Okay. Instead of the shoulder roll, throwing straight punches, he angled his punches, looping over the shoulder and catching Floyd in the temple. And that's another thing. You have to look at Floyd and say, well, you know what? Floyd had a good chin because he took that solid right hand or right hands from Sugar Shane Mosley. But he took those punches and he was hurt. Oh, yeah, he was hurt. Now, how bad he was hurt, we don't know. Only he could tell us that. But when Marcos Maidana looped those punches and he angled them coming downward, kind of like Triple G would do. That's why I never wanted Floyd to fight Triple G. It would have been a very dangerous fight for him. But that's another story because of the jab and, of course, the way he angles his hooks. Well, Maidana was angling those hooks, and he was fighting him, and he was going low. He almost kneed him at one point, and Mike Tyson saw it. He was like, you see that? He almost kneed him. Right? So he did fight him dirty. And even his corner, Robert Garcia, said, hey, fight him dirty. Fight him dirty. You can do that if you do that for 11 more rounds, you win. Right? So Mike Tyson himself came out like, look, I wouldn't fight Floyd clean because there's no way to beat him because he's mastered the way of the clock, points, ring generalship. See, here's the thing about Floyd, though. You hit Floyd with something, he's going to acknowledge that you got the best of him at that particular point in that particular round. But rest assured, he's going to do something to counterpunch that. He's going to counter that aggressiveness that you gave him. So if you won this part of this round, Floyd's going to find a way to accent something else that gives him the edge to reply back to you and then put the stank on it. He's going to do that. That's what he does. He did that with Miguel Cotto, right? Now with Manny, he kind of hung out with Manny, but he got Manny in the later rounds. That's where he pulled away from the Manny in the Manny Pacquiao fight. But Mike Tyson, you know, he said it would be no way to beat him, especially if he had that same speed, that same style, you know, in the heavyweight division. You know, it would be interesting because, see, Mike would hit Floyd in the shoulders, okay, you know, to the body. You know what I mean? He would work the body, and I think it would be more interesting if Floyd was a heavyweight, because if he fought someone like Mike Tyson, especially a ferocious Mike Tyson, and he got caught with a certain shot, it could be out. Okay, that's almost like Lomachenko now. I think Lomachenko would get beat. Loma would get beat by someone knocking him out, like Linares. If that punch was square on, like the Juan Manuel Marquez punch was to Pacquiao in their fourth fight, that could have been hook, line, and sinker, right? But Tyson, he said he would fight him dirty, would do anything, any means necessary, and that's how. Back to Marcos Maidana in the first fight was successful by winning 4, maybe 5 of those rounds out of that 12-round fight. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Mike Tyson's statements on how he would fight Floyd Mayweather. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.